talked about comics, and we talked about this one that's coming out and how this is kind of a concept record with the Exile 20 years. That's what this tour is all about in September. And the album drops September 9th. I've heard the song with Max Cavalera, and then the song with Tom England, I believe. And the second one is, what is it? Silence the World. Is that the name of the song? It's like a 7-minute song. Man, that's an epic song right there. And of course, with having Cavalera on it, you got to have a heavy song there as well. Yeah, so those two songs representation of the album. But moreover, I want to know what is the concept of this record as it speaks to the imagery, the comic, being back 20 years. Why September 9th? Why this time? Everything like that, man. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah. So the concept, this sort of like overarching concept, and as it relates to the songs on the album, it's not the concept doesn't play out in an arc, a story arc across the songs. It's more like they all have to do with the same general
so it's
themes.
not like you're gonna have like those interludes in between that are continuing the story, like a Coheed and Cambria record or something like that.
Yes and no. So the standard edition of the record is just 12 songs, and there's no interludes or anything like that. There's no, like I said, there's no arc from song 1 to song 12. There's no like story. Okay. But the deluxe edition of the record, you have 14 songs and you have 6 interludes, and so the interludes kind of create a through line or an arc between the songs. But then the songs, again, just sort of stand on their own individually. So every few tracks, though, you get you sink back into the storyline. And these interludes are sound designed, narrated. My good buddy, who I have like a side project with, I've been friends with forever, he's a sound designer on feature films. He does Christopher Nolan stuff, and so having him.
Oh, so he's done that for a couple minutes then.
yeah. So. He knows
what he's doing there. Working.
Yeah, he did the sound design on Tenet and on all Transformers, all kinds of crazy movies. So
very cool.
Having him as an asset for this was really, really cool. So we've got these little vignettes, these little interlude vignettes happening on the deluxe edition, which at this point is only a physical CD edition. It was too big to put on vinyl. It probably would have had to be 4 records. It's 80 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So so it's a little bit of both. Like I wanted the flexibility and the freedom to be able to just like write without, the track list sort of writing itself. I wanted that to come later and stuff. But it's the concept is basically centered around modern day tech, and sort of future looking. Social media plays a really big part of it. People's obsession with social media, sort of what it's doing, namely to our youth, how people are interacting with it, and how it's sort of. I have very strong opinions about social media because I'm in a very, the place that I get to play in it, I realize is very fortunate because I have a design entity that my brother can run the social media and I don't have to touch it. I have a band entity where my manager can run the social media and I don't have to touch it. And then on a personal level, I'm off social media. I have been for years. So I realize I'm very lucky because I get to have successful endeavors without having to touch social media. And I know there's a lot of people that need to be involved in social media in order to do the things that they need to do and be successful at them. But on a purely personal level, business aside, I have very strong opinions about social media, what they have done to us as a culture and as a people. And that's basically what is played out in the themes of the song.
Can you go into that a little bit deeper though, when you say you have what it's done to us culturally? How do you mean? Obviously, I think I could read between the lines, but
Sure.
In your own words, how can you? How do you feel it's hit our culture?
I think that it's still fairly early days in terms of like the big picture, but I think in a few decades, I think people will look back, and some people would currently, but it still seems a little bit rash to say that it's probably the worst thing that's ever happened to our culture in history.